getting fresh pictures which are live from the Palam airport. We've, of course, seen pictures of the bear hug. It's on the right sides of our screens. Prime Minister Modi, President Putin. Next, what we have on the left sides of our screens is the Prime Minister, I think, there waving to the crowds there in the same car, sitting with President Putin. It is in the safest car in the world, as it is called. And making their way to 7 LKM. This is where there is going to be a private dinner. And it is only tomorrow that the business end of this visit actually starts, ladies and gentlemen. So as we speak, the Prime Minister of India and the President of Russia on their way to the Prime Minister's residence for dinner. Is it vegetarian dinner? Possibly it is. Let me quickly get in Priyank. Priyank, first pictures of President Putin in India. We are seeing the car drive away. We had anticipated it that the two men will not ride separately. They'll be riding in the same car, and they are riding in President Putin's car. They have left Palam, haven't they?
No, they're still inside, Shreya, because the vehicles are yet to come out, the gates are yet to open. But this is what we were talking about, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi doesn't want to waste even a single minute of time period, because this is a scheduled visit of President Putin, which will be of around 24 to 26 hours of time period. He has to go to several other locations. Right now, from here, he will be going with the Prime Minister to the private dinner at his residence, then he'll go back to his hotel. Tomorrow will be a busy day for him, because around 10 a.m. from the gates are open, the movement will be here. While I'm telling you tomorrow's itinerary, what we can tell you to our viewers, that tomorrow around 10 a.m. Putin will be going to the President's house for the ceremonial reception, which will be there at the President's house. From there, he will move towards Rajghat, where he will pay tribute to Rashtrapita Mahatma Gandhi, and after paying tribute to Rashtrapita Mahatma Gandhi, he will be coming back to Hyderabad House, where there will be bilateral talks, where both the counterparts will be sitting there, and they will be trying to chalk out the further strategy.
Give me a minute here. We are getting a statement from Kremlin. In fact, they have posted out a picture of that bear hug. They were pretty quick at it. So as we see these pictures, ladies and gentlemen, Kremlin issuing a statement. They are saying Modi's decision to meet Putin at the aircraft ramp was unexpected, and the Russian side had not been informed in advance. Rami Desai, would you want to come in here?
Absolutely.
The Kremlin seems to be taken by surprise. But if we know the Prime Minister, we know he's a gracious host, and he's someone who knows how optics play out. We had expected him to show up at the airport.
Shreya, good evening. Absolutely, I think the Prime Minister is a gracious host. We've seen this before, but I think it's a lot more than that. I think he's sending a message out. I know we've spoken, Bill and my friend Ambassador Sajjanhar have spoken about the messaging to America, but I think this is somewhat of a triangular messaging, because not only is Washington watching this meeting very closely, but so is Beijing. And I think the message that goes out resonates with all of us, because if you remember, it was only a couple of years ago that the Prime Minister openly said that India's foreign policy is guided only by its national interests.
Correct.
And this is the message that has gone out. Him coming to receive President Putin is nothing short of a very subtle, yet a very clear message to the world that India is no longer just a participant in the international changes that are happening, but also a shaper of geopolitical changes.
Sure.
And I think that is what we are seeing with this bear hug.
I'm going to take a moment as we see these pictures and talk about President Trump. How can you not? Because the last time, at least I remember seeing President Putin and Prime Minister Modi together was at the SCO summit in China. And there was one particular picture that had gone viral and had highly and greatly irritated President Trump. And that was a picture of these two men on your screens, along with Xi Jinping, the president of China. You know what had happened on Truth Social. I actually did open Truth Social to remind myself what he had exactly said. And he had said that that is the United States of America, has lost India and Russia to the darkest China. Can I just read the whole thing? Looks like we've lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together. Signed, President Donald J. Trump. So as we take a look at these pictures, Bill, are we expecting a similar meltdown by President Trump, or do you think he has matured since September?
I think if you remember, he actually walked back that tweet pretty quickly in a press conference. So I doubt that we'll get something similar this time. And I think even when you look at the optics of the SCO, it's a great example of how the interests for India and Russia are changing. I think Prime Minister Modi was very wise in taking some limited photos, but not accompanying Chairman Xi to the military parade. Whereas, Putin came out looking more or less like Chairman Xi's sidekick, which again just goes to show how this situation is evolving, which is obviously something that India is not in India's interests. So again, we see a lot of optics, but we're going to have to see in substance how these relationships are actually changing.